Do you think you know Chernobyl? Think again. What happened in April 1986 wasn't just an ordinary nuclear explosion. It was the beginning of a silent catastrophe. A disaster that didn't end when the flames died out, but instead gave birth to another life. A life filled with pain, fear, and victims who never appeared on any screen. Invisible victims. Mothers who lost their children before they were born. Firefighters whose bodies were burned by deadly radiation. Villages abandoned by life, where death silently took up residence. Radiation cannot be seen, but it kills, it destroys, and it passes down from one generation to the next. Between ghost towns and broken souls, the shadow of Chernobyl stretches into our present, haunting everyone who has ever come close to that forbidden land. This is not just a story from the past. It is a terrifying reality that continues today, a truth that will forever change the way you see the world's greatest nuclear disaster. Before we begin, if this is your first time on the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our stories. I'm Alia. Now let's begin. April 26th, 1986. Pripyat, a small town in northern Ukraine. Engineers were conducting a routine test at reactor number 4. But one human error, combined with a fatal design flaw, triggered a chain of devastating explosions. The reactor's core burst open, releasing tons of radioactive material into the air. Radiation hundreds of times greater than the Hiroshima bomb. Firefighters rushed in to put out the flames, unaware they were facing an invisible, slow death. Their bodies began to break down from within, but they kept fighting the fire. One wife recalled, "He walked into the hospital on his own, but 2 days later, I could no longer recognize his face." Many were buried in sealed metal coffins because, even in death, their bodies remained radioactive. Here began the first list of invisible victims, families that lost everything in a single moment. Pripyat was once the pride of Chernobyl's workers. In just a few hours, it became a ghost city. Over 50,000 people were evacuated in yellow buses, leaving behind everything: photographs, memories, even children's toys. One child later said, "We thought we'd be back in 2 days, but we never returned." Today, Pripyat still stands frozen in time, a monument to lives cut short. Months after the explosion, thousands of children in Ukraine and Belarus were diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Women lived through nightmares of miscarriages and deformed births. Entire communities were socially shunned. Survivors were treated as if they were contaminated. A mother lost 3 children in consecutive years to birth defects. A farmer said, "The land that once fed me now kills me." Chernobyl didn't end in 1986. Radiation seeped into the bloodline. The second and third generations still suffer from mysterious illnesses. Doctors call it a disaster across generations. Every summer, international charities send children abroad so they can breathe clean air. But can they ever escape the radioactive inheritance that lives within their blood? Today, the Chernobyl exclusion zone has become a quote-unquote natural reserve for scientists and adventurers. But deep within the forests and abandoned buildings, a handful of elderly people refused to leave. One of them said, "Death here is better than living as a stranger in a city I don't know." They live with radiation as if it was an unseen neighbor. Chernobyl was not just a disaster written in history books. It is a silent curse that still burns through bodies and souls today. Its victims are not only those who died in 1986, but everyone born after, everyone who lived under its shadow. Radiation cannot be seen, but it kills, it destroys, and it passes down from one generation to the next. This is the silent catastrophe, Chernobyl, the truth no one ever told you. In your opinion, who are the true victims of Chernobyl? those who died instantly or the generations still paying the price today? And if you had the chance to visit the forbidden Chernobyl zone, would you dare to step inside, or would you rather watch it from afar?